that tore open a deep wound, not only locally but across the country. The impact from May 25th of last year continues to be felt. And with jury selection for the Officer Chauvin trial set to start Monday, police departments across the northwest suburbs are preparing for any possible impact. You'll recall the story. Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis officer, is accused of killing George Floyd during an arrest. 3 other officers were also at the scene, and they are scheduled to go on trial in August. The outcome of the trials has local communities on edge. Today, reporter Sonia Goins shows us what's being done here in the Northwest Metro to keep the peace.
The Hennepin County Government Center is surrounded by fencing and cement barricades in preparation for the upcoming trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. He's accused of murdering George Floyd last summer. After the incident, civil unrest broke out in Minneapolis and surrounding suburbs. Now Brooklyn Center and Crystal Police Departments are beefing up security. Since the death of George Floyd at the hands of Minneapolis police officers,
no justice, no peace. We've been sitting down for too long. Black lives, they matter. Here. Black lives, they matter. Here. George Floyd.
People from all walks of life are calling for racial justice and police reform. The case created a firestorm in Minneapolis,
No justice, no peace.
as well as the northwest suburbs.
Hands up.
Young people took to the streets in Brooklyn Park. And in Golden Valley, they rallied on a pedestrian bridge.
George Floyd. George Floyd.
And they raised their voices in Maple Grove, Plymouth, and Robbinsdale.
Black lives, they matter here.
While most of the protests were peaceful, rioting and looting took place in some cities. Businesses in Shingle Creek Crossing and Brooklyn Center were hit.
We had a lot of groups of people there causing damage. Some looting, thefts, burglaries.
And a few businesses in Crystal were also vandalized.
Maxit Pond was hit, and then a few businesses up at the Crystal Shopping Center were also targeted.
Law enforcement agencies want to avoid a repeat of the reckless behavior.
Right now, we have no known credible threats as far as any protests, any looting, any vandalism.
Both Brooklyn Center and Crystal Police Departments are increasing officer presence within their communities during the trial and afterwards.
They aren't able to take any time off during a certain amount of weeks, making sure that we add additional staff to our road.
They also have some mutual aid agreements in place with neighboring cities to help ensure they have backup if needed.
We're sharing information really well, so we'll all be on the same page here moving forward.
Officials are also reaching out to local businesses, asking them to be vigilant and mindful of what happened before.
The biggest thing for both homeowners and businesses is to make sure that you have lighting that is working and works properly around your business or your home. Making sure that if you do have cameras in your business or your home, that they're functional and work properly.
Local police say they want to make sure everyone feels safe and know they can call for help if needed. Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Big changes are on the way in the Robbinsdale School District over school start times. But what exactly those changes are and when the plan would go into effect remain to be seen. In December, the Robbinsdale School Board voted to change school start times. The goal is to move the district's high schools to a later start time. Officials point to sleep studies as one reason for the change. Transportation costs are another reason. The board will now decide between 2 scenarios. One scenario would have elementary schools start at 7:45, an hour and a half earlier than the current start time. The high school day would start at 8:35, that's more than an hour later. And middle schools would start at 9:20, also more than an hour later from their current start time. That scenario would save the district about $53,000 a year. Under a second scenario, middle schools would start the earliest, going from 8 a.m. to 7:35. The high school day would be the same as the first proposal, while elementary students would start about the same time they do now. This scenario would save $106,000. The district has put together a subcommittee of parents and community members to discuss the options. You can find out more information on the school's website as well as ours. A Maple Grove lawmaker is the sponsor of a bill that would increase voter turnout even more, while also simplifying the current registration system. Representative Kristen Bonner is proposing to switch Minnesota from an opt-in registration system to an opt-out system. What that means is Minnesota residents would automatically be registered to vote by the state using information collected during government transactions, such as when you get a driver's license. Supporters of the bill point to 22 other states that currently use automatic voter registration. They say it would improve efficiency, save the state money, and reduce those lines on Election Day. The Golden Valley City Council gave final approval to an ordinance change that impacts all dog owners in the city. Golden Valley will now require dogs to be on a leash when on sidewalks, at parks, or other public property. When other pets or people are within 20 feet, that leash must be no more than 6 feet long. The ordinance change takes effect as soon as it gets published. This issue has been a longtime city goal. Complaints from residents ultimately led to the change. Prior to the city council vote on Tuesday night, Golden Valley hadn't updated its animal ordinance in decades. A Brooklyn Park church is doing its part to help out during Food Share Month. Prince of Peace Lutheran Church in Brooklyn Park is a regular partner with SEEP, which serves people in both Brooklyn Center and Brooklyn Park. They will hold a Stuff the Truck event so people can donate while still staying socially distant.
So we found that it works well for us to set up the parking lot so that people can just come in one side, drop off. We'll have volunteers there to go to their cars and retrieve the items and begin to stack them into the SEEP truck, which will be parked right out front.
Prince of Peace Church is located on West Broadway in Brooklyn Park. The drive-up food and cash donation event in the parking lot is scheduled for Wednesday, March 10th. But if you want more information on how or when to donate, make sure you check out SEEP's website.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. Despite a loss to De La Salle Tuesday, the Cooper boys basketball team is putting together an impressive season. Jay Wilcox has more on the Hawks.
They're on quite a roll. After losing their opener in this late starting season, the Cooper boys basketball team rattled off 12 straight wins.
We're doing pretty good. We have some good momentum going. We just looking to knock teams off as we keep going.
Just the hustle and how grimy we are, how we lift each other up, work on and off the court like I said earlier. I like how hard we work.
You know, getting used to each other again because they hadn't seen each other since last March, haven't had a chance to do anything. So, it's just trying to work all the kinks out, all the bugs out and get together. But I'm extremely pleased at where they are right now and how we've been playing.
The balanced and deep Hawks don't have a lot of marquee names and have largely gone under the radar, but that's changing. They're up to number 4 in the state Class 4A rankings.
It really doesn't mean anything because you still got to play and you still got to perform. So that it doesn't matter. So you still got to come out, do what you got to do, and you got to work hard. So I think it's probably more important for them, but less important for me, and more of a worry for me because now everybody is shooting to knock you off.
With one conference game remaining, the Hawks are tied for first in the Metro West with Chaska, a team they split with this season. Then it's the Section 6 4A tournament, which features 3 teams in the top 7 in the rankings, including Wayzata and Hopkins along with Cooper.
I always like the competition, but there's some tough teams. We just got to play like we usually do, play tough every game.
Our section is good. I feel like, most of the time, the team that comes out of our section got a real good chance of winning the state. It makes for a lot, good games and good competition, but, a lot of long nights for me as a coach just trying to figure out how to beat these teams.
After a section runner-up finish last season, Cooper's hoping to take the next step and win a section championship. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Cooper's district rival Armstrong is also having a good season in boys basketball. The Falcons scored another win Tuesday night.
The Falcons at home to tip off with Rogers in a Northwest Suburban Conference game. The Royals' Mitchell Jezierski hits a corner 3 to put his team up 6-2. One of 12 made threes for Rogers in the game. Deshaun Larkins takes the ball all the way to the basket, lays it high off the glass and in. Larkins with a big game scoring for the Falcons. Nice transition basket here for Armstrong. Seth Newbern passes to Jamez Garner, who hits the floater in the lane. Armstrong leads by 9. Falcons were up by 5 at halftime. Second half, and Rogers guard Peyton Belka drains a three to pull the Royals to within 2. Belka finishes the night with 11 points. Then it's Easton Whitcomb with another Rogers triple. Whitcomb also scores 11 in the game, and the teams are tied. It's 50-all when the Falcons' Dylan Iniger gets to the basket, scores, and is fouled. Armstrong is in the lead for good at 52-50. Rogers turns the ball over here. It's Garner ahead to Larkins, who scores and is fouled. Larkins leads both teams in scoring, netting 22 points in the night. Armstrong wins 64-59 for their 10th win of the season.
It's Maple Grove hosting Champlin Park in girls basketball. Kennedy Click finds Jordan Odie cutting for the layup, and it's 11-6 Crimson. Ari Gordon with the pass to Click, and she spins in for the hoop. It's 22-6 Maple Grove. Click in transition takes it all the way for 2 more. Maple Grove dominates to grab a 31-9 lead. Click gives it up to Odie, and she drives and pulls up for 2 of her 16 points. Maple Grove races out to a 45-16 halftime lead on the Rebels. Second half, and Izzy Brandt feeds Click for a 3. Click is one of 4 Crimson players in double figures with 12 points. Claire Stern gets into the lane for 2 more as Maple Grove cruises to a 71-46 win over Champlin Park. Jay Wilcox, CCX